What's good, peeps? It's your boy Uncle Fred back again. I know second time in a week, but the Cowboys always got some stuff to talk about, man. On the show tonight, and this I'm saying night lightly because it's actually 3 o'clock in the morning, but that's the time I'm a night owl, so I'll probably sleep until about noon, so I can get up and go to work tomorrow and do the same thing. But we're gonna be talking about Chapel Bill and what all that means, because all this stuff I'm gonna talk about is all tied into a bow. I'm gonna talk about Chapel Bill, how he ended up where he ended up, and what that means for us. We're gonna talk about first thing we're gonna talk about is the Oershown injury. We've got some updated news on the Oershown, Demarion Oershown's injury, and it's not as bad as it could have been, but it's plenty bad. And it goes to show when you do things, nothing good comes when you do stuff wrong. And all that's going to tie into all the other stuff too. And then we're going to talk about, we're also going to talk about the fact that Stephen Jones at the owners meeting says we're going to have a tough time managing and balancing the budget and the salary cap on next year. So expect more of the same next year. And along with that, and then we're gonna share some clips with you on that, and some things about Mike McCarthy. And I got some news what I think is gonna happen with Mike McCarthy too. And as it related to the game on Monday night, and it really wasn't all Amani Oriani. I can't think of his last name. I can't say it, but y'all know who I'm talking about. It's not all his fault. We're going to talk about that, and then I'm going to make a bold prediction at the end with all this stuff tied together, with all this information I'm about to lay at y'all's feet. I'm going to make me a bold prediction. Y'all hang with your boy, just a little taste, and we'll be right back. Once again, it's your boy Uncle Fred. Welcome to Uncle Fred's Rants. It's I guess a Thursday morning. It's about 3:10 in the morning. Y'all will catch this tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow morning, or sometime. So go ahead and like, comment. If you watch the video, about 70 people, 75 people watched the video that I did on Monday night. But only about a handful of y'all hit the like button. Please, I'm begging y'all, hit the like button because it triggers algorithms. If you looked at the video, go ahead and hit the like button. I was shudder to think you didn't like the content that I brought y'all, but hey man, I can't say. And so yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. Become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. Guarantee you will not be disappointed. So, okay, so also I've taken the liberty of putting my Cash App. We know I'm fighting to get monetization, so you got to get certain levels. Y'all subscribe and tell your friends to subscribe. I can get there quicker. But nonetheless, this until then it's a hobby. But if you will, you see my Cash App on there, you can send your boy a little something. That's fine. I'm not begging you, but if you want to, you can. It's not a big deal. So let's go ahead and talk about a couple of things. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about is the Demarion Oershown injury. And so let's go ahead and let's see here. Let's see what it lets me do here. Okay, I guess I could do them. Okay, I guess I could delete those. All right, let me show you what I was able to discover here on according to New York Times. Da 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 da. Ooh, don't see it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, according to Bleacher Report, and so we're gonna go ahead and share this. I'm gonna I'm gonna see, put it down right here. And I'm just reading this. This is actually coming courtesy of John Machota, uh, very respected reporter. And so this is kind of pointing to what I was talking about the next year coming up, what it's going to look like. But I'm gonna go ahead and share that with you and put it on the screen. Not that. I don't want that on the screen. Get that off the screen. I want this on the screen. I don't want that. I want this. Get that off the screen. I want this down there. I don't want the. Here we go. Right here. Yeah. Here we go. All right. A significant, and you see me down there at the bottom, so I'm right there. A significant knee injury ended Cowboys linebacker DeMarvin Overshow's night in Week 14. Now, based on latest update, the standout second-year player appears in line for a lengthy road to recovery and could impact the 2025 season. Oershown, 24, will require season-ending surgeries, suffering a torn right ACL, MCL, and PCL during the Cowboys' 27-20 loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. He was having an amazing season. I think he's second on the team to Kendricks with 90 tackles, 5 sacks, an interception, a pick six, and a fumble recovery. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna stop sharing that. And so let's go back to here. All right. All right. So we see that, and so to me, what that's telling me, and I'm gonna tell you what I think about that. Um, where's my? Here we go. Got to put my stuff all back up there. So anyway, so here you got this brilliant player, and I think Oershown and Michael was going to be wreaking havoc, and they still might. But this now, what they thought was the deal, they thought he was going to have that plus some nerve damage because apparently a bunch of dudes uh, fell on top of him under a pile with his knee bent back up underneath him. I did not exactly see the play exactly, but I saw him getting up off the turf and them tending to him for a while, so I didn't know. And of course, the way it looked, him coming off the court, because he didn't go off in a cart. That just shows you what kind of soldier that dude is. He didn't go off on a tractor, on one of those carts, whatever that they bring out, whatever. And he was able to put some weight on it, but he pretty much every ligament you have got tore in that. And so what that's telling me is that you probably aren't gonna have him back for 2025. It's December, right? And if it's just an ACL, you look at about a year. So, you know, so I don't look for him to be back next year. So now, what I mean by that, we're gonna go into our next topic and all this ties together. See, that's why you as an NFL team can't take a season off. Okay. Now that don't have nothing to do with this, right? I'm just saying when you do things a certain way, I think it's like karma. If you set out to hoodwink somebody, set out to, do somebody dirty somehow, and I don't like to give the universe, credit for anything. I usually say it's all about blessings and cursings. That's where the way I, look at things. But a lot of people say the universe has a way of getting things back right. Okay. You robbed somebody, you would get run over by a car on the way home or something. I mean, it don't always happen, but sometimes when you do stuff, things happen to you where you don't make out as well as you thought you would have when you did it. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the decision the front office made to punt on the 2024 season. That was a willing act. That wasn't something where you had all these people making up great money and they left your team like what happened to the Rams in 22. After they won their Super Bowl and all those people left. J. Ram left, Odell Beckham Jr. left. Uh, 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 God, what's the pass rusher's name? I can't think of his name. He plays for Buffalo now. But all those guys left, and then you had Whitworth retire. You had all this dead money tied up in all those players, and you really kind of just had to do the best you could the next year with all those players gone, right? Uh, so it wasn't nothing like that. You just decided you got in your feelings about the Green Bay game, and don't get me wrong. I was in my feelings about the Green Bay. I wanted to get rid of the whole team. All right, but then cooler heads prevailed. You say, okay, what do we need to do to get better? What are our weak spots? Let's shore up those weak spots. Get rid of some dead weight, which they did some of that. Replace them with some good weight, and let's continue on and fight the good fight. Right. But no, they didn't do that. We're gonna step out of line. That's what I liken it to. I was looking at the top 10 NFL Network's power rankings the other day, and I think they got the Detroit Lions at number 1, the Philadelphia Eagles number 2, Kansas City Chiefs number 3. I think the Minnesota Vikings are 4. I think the Steelers are 5. The Packers are 6. I think it went something like that, and it went all the way down to 10. And of course, we ain't nowhere in there. But the past like 4 years, we've been right in there with that procession of teams. But somebody decided to I'm going to just get rid of half our players, not going to participate in free agent, and I'm going to actually punt on the season, and I'm going to keep my powder dry. That's something that Mike Fisher says for 2025. Okay. So I'm gonna push all that stuff, get out of line. Now, mind you, all these teams that was in line with us, now they got better this year than they were last year. And guess what? Next year they're gonna be better than they were this year, right? So what makes you think you could just jump out of line and then just, I'm just gonna get my place back? Like if you was in line at in line at the movie theater, and you had to go to the bathroom or something, and you think you can just leave out of line and go and think you're gonna go get your spot back. It don't work like that. And the reason I'm saying that and tying this to that, because they was counting on Oershown in part of that 2025 reclamation project, right? But it's looking like he not going to be there. And who knows? Dak might not be what he once was. I mean, I'm not, whatever some of these people might think, he never was anything. Well, it's fine. Y'all can think what you want. That dude was number 2 in the MVP race last year. So whatever you want to think about that. But the dude tore his hamstring off the bone. So the things that they were counting on for 2025, the Marion Oershown, like, yeah, man, that guy gonna be a guy. That's one of our draft steals. Right. And except he got hurt and he ain't gonna be ready for 2025. Okay. Y'all better not hope that something happened to Micah. Better put him on ice bags. Better put him on in mothballs for the rest of the season, because mathematically we out for this. As far as like playoff, I think we got like 1% chance or something like that. And I don't see no reason for him to be out there playing wild and free, and he could get hurt or something. But I'm usually you play it till the end. But if you're trying to keep all your stuff towards 2025, and you're like, I don't care about 2024. I'm just gonna play for 2025. But the things you counted on for 2025 might not be there when you thought they was gonna be there. So that's kind of like the universe saying, no, you need to try every year like everybody else do. You don't see the Eagles trying, because the same thing happened to them happened to us. Okay? They went to Tampa Bay, got their brains kicked in. But they didn't let 10 players go and didn't sign nobody in free agency. They didn't do that. They like, no, we're going to come back stronger the next year. We're going to find out where we're weak at. We're going to draft well, and we're going to get right back in the saddle. Okay? Everybody except the Kansas City Chiefs, because they won it last year, could set themselves up to get for improvement. The Detroit Lions set themselves up to get improvement. Now they had a setback, lost Aiden Hutchinson, and got Zadarius Smith from the Cleveland Browns. Got better, and then they drafted Ennis Rickershaw and Teron Arnold, cornerbacks from the University of Alabama, University of Missouri, respectively. So they're getting better, and trust me, they're gonna draft better this year, next year, this year than they did this past year. Okay? And when they did that, they still paid their players. Jeff Kavanaugh is going to talk about that later in our video. Okay, so that's all I'm saying. But we're praying for Oershown that he comes back. You know, I'm not going to say be better than you were, dude. That's both knees now that have reconstructive knee surgeries. And this is a dude that banks on and is all about speed, agility, change of motion, and all that sort of stuff, and ferociousness. And I don't know if he's going to have that, now. So we'll see. But we're definitely going to be praying for him, saying up all your prayer emojis for Oershown. But I just think that it went that way, and I just think you just can't do what the Cowboys front office is attempting to do because nobody else is doing that. It's just not. It's just disrespectful to the guys that's out there trying to beat their brains into play, and you just gonna pull a plug on a season for what? And nobody else. I mean, the good thing you got your front office ain't hired like Harry Roseman, like Brett Veach, like any of those dudes, or like Donald. What's the guy's name in Detroit? Don is it Cartwright? I can't think of his name. But the general manager, them guys can't take a year off. Okay, they can't take a year off. All right. Brian DaCosta, the GM of the Baltimore Ravens, he can't take a year off. Like, yeah, we're just gonna kind of mill it around this year. No, we're in win now mode, and we're gonna talk about that later too. So we're gonna keep praying for Oershown. So next thing we're gonna talk about is Chapel Bill. Oh my goodness! Now look, that's not me, man. I didn't come up with that. That's courtesy of Mike Fisher. That's courtesy of Mike Fisher. I'm gonna give you the story right here as soon as I find it. Dude, did I lose it? Oh no, I don't see it. I don't see it. Oh wait, here it is right here. Why? Yeah, we can go right here. Why? Is it why? You Jones, something else. All right. Well, I'll just let's see. We'll just pull this up right here. All right. So Bill Belichick, and I'm just going to talk about this here. Bill Belichick signed with, that's what we call him, Chapel Bill. Bill Belichick signed on for 5 years at the University of North Carolina, and he'll make $10 million per year over the course of the deal. Bill Belichick's $10 million annual salary leaves him tied with Kalen DeBoer, that's my coach at Alabama, Mike Norvell as the sixth highest paid coach in college football. The full contract has not been disclosed, but it will be publicly available when officials when officials do in North Carolina status as public schools. Bill Belichick is 72 and will be 73 by the time he coaches in North Carolina, and he takes on and takes over for and replacing former one of my favorite coaches, Matt Brown, who coached at Texas and different places and whatnot. Actually, it was a second stint at North Carolina. Now, it is believed that Belichick will bring on his son, Steve Belichick, who is currently the defensive coordinator of the University of Washington, to be like his associate head coach, with the assumption that maybe he will take over as head coach once Belichick decides to hang it up. So, daddy getting him a job. So okay, so whatever. We'll just go with that's just what that is. So um all right, go back to here. All right. So now the question is, wasn't Bill Belichick in everybody's mouth as the guy that's gonna take over for Mike McCarthy? I mean, every time I looked up, I mean, it was a stupid idea a year or so ago. And after we got our brains beat in by the Green Bay Packers, you started to hear Belichick. You know, Belichick's been on a lot of things. He's been on a lot of programs. He's currently on Inside the NFL, which comes on airs on CW Network. And it has Chad Ochocinco, it has Ryan Clark, and some other guys on there and stuff. And you see him yucking it up, and you never saw Bill Belichick doing it. He's grooming himself to be more personable, and he's taking this North Carolina job. And he was really thought of as like, hey, that's the kind of guy that can change the culture of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, you take that piece of information and you marry that to this little bit of information right here. Let me show you something else here. Yeah, let's look at this right here. All right. So this was like last week. It came kind of on the heels. Let me get this thing sized up here. Yeah. All right. So I can put me back on the screen here. I'm down here at the bottom. Yeah, here I is down here. Here's the thing. You got Bill Belichick off the market. Okay. You got the 105.3 the fan comment that I shared last week with Jerry saying it's not crazy about Mike coming back next year. You got Dak Prescott saying, all these glowing things about him, and you got Micah backing that up, which I talked about on Monday night. And now here you got this Cowboys EVP, Executive Vice President Stephen Jones, saying this. When asked on 105.3 The Fan, and all of them going 105.3 The Fan, there's something this Cowboy fan talk. I'm going to talk about that here in just a minute. On 105.3 The Fan about Dak Prescott endorsing Mike McCarthy to remain the head coach. And then he goes on and says, I think our whole team endorses Mike McCarthy. He's got skins on the wall. He's won a Super Bowl. He's been in multiple championship games. He knows what, I'm going to have to undo that, scroll that down, and then take it back. He knows what it takes to win big games. That's what it's saying. And so he went on to say, and I'm gonna go back here and I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay, and it didn't do right again. Okay, now you take that and and what Jerry said, what Dak said, and you marry that to Bill Belichick taking another job. Why would he take that job? That's something Mike Fisher said. Why would he take that job? I mean, that's not Alabama. Not tooting my own horn here, but Alabama's a premium job. That's a plum job. Okay. Always getting top recruits, always getting, that's not Ohio State. Okay. That's not LSU. Okay. That's not USC. Okay. That's not many of those teams. That's not let's name many of them teams in the college football program, playoffs, Oregon, Tennessee. That's not any of those teams. That's North Carolina. a middle of the pack, a fair to middling college football program. Why would you take that job? You took that job over I don't know how many NFL jobs might be available. The Cowboys job might be available. Of course, now it might not. What about the Chicago Bears? I could see him doing some things in Chicago. They definitely don't have a head coach, right? Jacksonville. Is anybody telling me that Doug Peterson not getting fired this year? Because he is. Because what are they, 2-12 or whatever, 2-11? Yeah, or 3-10, because I think they won Sunday. 3-10, he's getting fired. I'm sure there's a few other teams where you feel like, that coach is probably the Raiders. I hate to say that about my man Pierce, because I think he kind of got sold some bad goods with the players leaving, them not signing Josh Jacobs back, and then Devontae Adams leaving. You really don't have any talent. Your quarterback just got knocked out for the season. I think both of them, both Aiden O'Connor and him and Gardner Minshew. So what are you supposed to do? You're going to lose games. The Giants, but they may hold on to Brian Daboll. What about the Jets? They got a head coaching opening and all those possibilities, and you took North Carolina. I don't know. But anyway, let's get back to this thing by Stephen Jones said about so all these people giving Mike McCarthy this ringing endorsement. But and look, man, I was telling you guys last week, I was kind of on the fence about Mike McCarthy because I was like, look, man, I thought he got sold bad goods too, because it's like, okay, you got 1 year to save your job, but we ain't gonna give you no players. We're gonna basically let you get this. I want you to sell more than you sold last year, but we cutting your payroll. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. But don't let me tell you. Let Brian Broaddus and Jeff Kavanaugh tell you. I mean, and this is what I'm talking about. And they had a nice little fight about this. And this is coming courtesy of the Jeff Kavanaugh Network with Brian Broaddus. Brian Broaddus is he used to be he actually currently is on 105.3 The Fan with Sean Sharif and Bobby Belt and all those guys. Let's see here. Yeah, here we go right here. All right, we're going to share this with you. We're going to go to about route this right here. And I just want you to hear. So this was about the game, because you remember I was telling you on our video on Monday that everybody want to makes it Amani Oriarie. I knew I'd be able to pronounce it. His fault that they lost the game. Don't get me wrong, that was a bad play, and I think everybody's kind of taking up for him. But I think he did kind of wet the bed a little bit. But I think we did a lot in the balance of the game where we never could take control of the game when I thought that the onus was there for us to do that. But don't let me tell you that. Let Brian Broaddus tell you essentially the same thing that little old Freddie Fred told you. All right. So let me play this right here, and I want you to hear what Brian Broaddus says.
There was a lot of things that Cowboy defense did last night to give you a chance to win that football game. Mike McCarthy let you down last night as a play caller. One of the worst defenses in the National Football League. When you look at how, and one of the great examples was, to me, a 14-yard run and then 3 straight pass plays. Too many empty possessions for this football team. And that, especially on the offensive side of the ball, not taking advantage of Cincinnati's poor secondary. Here's a team that hasn't rushed the passer well all year, doesn't really get pressures. And what are they doing? They're finding a way to get a pressure, getting a sack on a safety blitz. I don't know if there's a hot read miss. I don't know if in fact that Smith is supposed to pick up Stone, the blitzer there. But here's CD and then also Cooks. They both see the safety blitz, and neither one of them really react to it at all. So to me, this was an offensive failure last night. And I think that was one of the big reasons why you lost this football game.
Oh,
Okay, we had some of this last night, and it's a very uncomfortable place to be for me.
Yeah.
I think I'm a defender of Mike McCarthy,
Shouldn't
and
be today.
it
Should
hurts.
not, absolutely should not be a defender of the way that he navigated that football game last night.
So I actually, because it happened last night, like the right before we did this show, I just went back through the whole thing, and like
Mhm.
I feel like if that is our big issue, or if that is who we want to focus on, we're maybe talking about a play call. Like he
I'm thinking
called,
no, I'm thinking about many play calls there. To me, I look at his inability. I see what they're doing, and I get it. It's Cooper Rush playing against Joe Burrow.
and that was
Okay.
the problem.
That is a huge problem. But the thing about it is you're not doing anything to help your football team win that game last night with the way you called that game. The way that, you had an opportunity. Count up the empty possessions that they had, Jeff. Count up the opportunities they missed down in the red zone, with the interception. Okay, Rush, yeah, sure. Probably supposed to throw the wheel route there. They're lined up off sides or lined up in the backfield because of Schoonmaker. But your inability, though, when your defense is turning them over and forcing them punts, and you're not getting anything against that defense, where everybody in the league has run roughshod over this defense, and you don't get it. It's Cooper Rush. But you're in a situation where you have the ability to run the football and maybe run it a little bit more. Maybe try and lean on it a little bit more. Maybe not put Cooper Rush in situations where he's falling apart as a passer. Defend the guy all you want. I totally disagree with you on this one.
I think
Totally disagree
they
with
called
you.
more first down runs than throws.
All right. Okay. All right, that's enough of that. I don't know how much I can really share of that. That's what give y'all some ideas of that what your boy Uncle Fred was saying. It's a much bigger folks than moi that said the same thing. Exactly what I saw. You had a running back that ran 130 yards on only 18 carries. I mean, he was dealing, and you chose to throw the ball on a couple of occasions, 3 straight times. So, boy, I'm not gonna rehash that game. What I'm trying to say is that you got all these people giving these ringing endorsements for him, but then the people that actually watch film and study the film and understand how game plans and stuff are put together are telling you like, no, man, that dude ain't, that was an opportunity for him to win the game in a way, because I know we was playing the Eagles. He threw it 49 times. We were playing against the Texans. He threw it 55 times. Well, what are you doing, man? That's like suicide. With Cooper Rush, I'm not throwing the ball 55 times unless I got Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or somebody like that. I'm not throwing it no 55 times with this guy. You just can't put it. So that's the thing with that. So you got that going. And then here is the bomb right here. So today, coming out of the owners' meeting, they're having an owners' meeting at the Ritz-Carlton in Dallas, Texas. And, well, I'll show you the article. Because I like to, because now I got the ability to show my work. Shoot, I'm showing everything. I'm not, I'm showing my work, man. I'm going to try to show my work. All right. Let's see here. Where is that? Let's see, Stevenson. Who's that? Stevenson. Yeah, I think this is it here. No. Let's see. I don't see it here. I know I got it here. Let's see. Okay. 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 Don't see. Oh, here we go. How about this one? All right, this is what Stephen Jones says. Now, so somehow this tab didn't share, so I'm just gonna talk it, and you just look at my screensaver. And when asked about the 2024, this is coming from Nick Harris of Yahoo Sports. Okay, I think we're going to have a challenge, the same challenge in 2024 and as we did in 2025. Jones said it's going to be really tight. Stephen Jones expects really tight offseason in 2025. Okay. Uh, he goes on to say there's going to be some players that they're no longer here that we're going to have to be taken. We're going to have to pay the piper on. I'm paraphrasing here because I wasn't able to find the maybe this is it. Yeah, here it is. Speaking outside of NFL league meetings on Wednesday afternoon after the session concluded at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Dallas, Texas, Executive Vice President Stephen Jones offered these answers to what the team has ahead in the final 4 games and gave a potential outlook on how the offseason could play out. After the 2024 offseason that frustrated the fan base because of the lack of free agent movement that has the Cowboys enraged. Jones anticipated a similar situation in 2025 offseason because the team's salary cap situation. I think we knew we were gonna have a challenge in 2024 and 2025, Jones said. It's gonna be really, really tight. We have some money left over from some guys who are not here today, and we're going to have some other guys that won't be here in the future, and you're going to have their cap count. Okay. When a player is on a contract, the team has the option to push a portion of his contract against the salary cap in the future years rather than the current year, also known as dead cap. Okay. We'll stop there. All right. Let's go back. Let me get back to me. All right. So, So that's what he said. All right. So this is all a big pot of gumbo here, all the way from Bill Belichick signing with the Carolina Panthers, the Oershown thing. He not playing next year with the injuries that he has. All of the people giving Mike McCarthy this vote of confidence, but then you're actually seeing the people that watch film what he really looked like. Even Stephen Jones saying he's great, man, he's great. But then the people that watch film are telling you no, and especially in that game, you playing probably one of the worst defense in the NFL, and you couldn't generate enough offense to create separation. How good your defense was playing, right? So Jeff Kavanaugh, like I said, I don't agree with everything Jeff Kavanaugh. Jeff Kavanaugh is a good content creator. You can find him on Jeff Kavanaugh on his YouTube channel. You can also find him on DLL Dallas. It's a cop podcast he does with Calvin. Clarence Hill, Jesse Holly, Aisha Morris, and it's a great show. I would advise y'all to tune into that to get some good cowboy content. But Jeff Kavanaugh came on today and he addressed that comment which I just saw right there, and I'm fixing to pull that up right here, and let you hear what Jeff Kavanaugh said about that. And like I say, I'm learning now. I can show my work, man. I can show my work. So I like that. I can show my work. Let's see here. Let me find that here. Oh, here it is. It's right here. I ain't know I could scroll up and scroll down. Here it is. Here. Here. Let's see. It was a YouTube. It was a YouTuber, wasn't it? Okay. Here we go. Okay. No, that's not the right one. That's not the right one. That's not the right one. Let's see here. Let's go back to this here. Okay, let's try that again. I got so many things pulled up. I can't remember which one it is. Let's see here. Let's see. Is that the one? I think this is it here. Yeah, here it is. Here. I don't want to do it like that, but I guess I'm going to. Okay, here we go. So let me. Well, I'm just gonna let you hear it, and we're just gonna kind of. I'm gonna move it to. I'm gonna move it to where I'd like to start it at around 132.
As he sees similar issues ahead in 2025 as what the team had in 2024. Quote, I think we knew we were going to have a challenge in 2024 and 2025. It's going to be really, really tight. We still have some money left over from guys who are not here today. You're going to have some other guys that won't be here in the future that you're still going to have their cap count. End quote. All right. So those things are technically accurate. So maybe I shouldn't call them a liar. They do, in fact, have some dead money on the cap this year. I can get you the amount. $27 million.
$27 million dead cap.
In 2025, next year, they do have $9 million in dead money, plus a couple of contract. You know what? Let me just show you. Let me figure out how to show you.
See, what they're not understanding.
Because I'm going to show you what it looks like when a team is
now.
trying to win, and I want to show you what it looks like when a team is not trying to win and they're crying poverty to try to make their fan base believe things that aren't true. Let's see. Share screen. Share.
She's actually showing you the dead cap money.
Add.
A team that's trying to win versus a team that's not trying to win.
Now I can't see. Let me separate this.
You won't be able to see that. That's small for me.
If you guys can see.
But
okay, so you can
just
see.
listen to what he's saying.
I don't know how well you guys can see it. But anyway, this is the Cowboys salary cap in 2025 next year. Demarcus Lawrence void year, Zach Martin void year, Brandon Cooks void year, right?
Those are 3 guys won't be here.
It's 10.5 plus 7.5 plus 4. 10.5. 7.5 is 18 and 4 is $22 million plus $9 million. So that's $31 million in dead money, but the actual dead that isn't up here in the void years is already accounted for in their cap space, whatever, right? So yes, they will have some dead money on the books. They will. Now I want to show you Philadelphia Eagles salary cap.
Overthecap.com where you find this stuff.
Hopefully you guys can still see. Okay. 2024. If $63 million in dead money.
Wow.
63.
Twice as much.
The top part here, their roster. Lane Johnson's base salary is $1 million this year. So is Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Jordan Mailata and Darius Slay and Devontae Smith and Josh Sweat and Landon Dickerson and Saquon Barkley is a $3.8 million cap hit. I think a lot of fans know this by now. I think. Dead money doesn't stop you from signing players. Okay? Captain Thunder's in the Super Chat. Greedy Dak is killing us. So I'm going to say this as politely.
Most of y'all fans are Thunder Dan here.
Captain Thunder is Jerry and Stephen Jones' dream fan. They tell you because of our highly paid players, we can't sign players. Because we have an upcoming player who's going to make a lot of money, we can't sign players. They're lying.
That's backwards.
They're lying. They're choosing not to. And to be fully transparent and very fair to them, I do think it's important to have somewhat of a balance with how aggressively you manipulate the salary cap, because you do pay a price at some point. At some point. And usually it's at the end of a contract or career of a group of guys. That's
Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna move ahead to another portion of the video. I don't wanna do the entire video. Go about the 11-minute mark here. Scroll ahead to about right here. So I want to do just to make the points I'm trying to make here. And right there. Okay.
now the other reason that they don't sign the guys, even though they know exactly what it's going to cost. And they pretend they're negotiating for 6 months or a year and 6 months or 2 years and 6 months, is because if they did sign CeeDee Lamb in March, they had to sign Dak or he would have been an unrestricted free agent. If they had signed CeeDee early too, you guys would have known they had cap space. And when you have cap space, you have to sign football players to try to win football games. And the ones who can help you do that require a signing bonus. When you sign a really good player and you have to pay him $30 million that day, ooh, that's tough. You got to write that check. That's tough. What would be way cooler is if we didn't have that cap space when free agency started, so we can't sign players. We don't have any money. We're really up against it. So we'll just get all these one-year jobbers, and then we'll say, we can't believe, see, free agency doesn't work because you signed league minimum guys who are barely in the league. And now we can tell you guys that free agency doesn't work, and that's why we're not signing the big-name free agents. You're not signing the big-name free agents because you don't want to write that check. Other teams in the NFL do want to win. You enjoy your net worth going up. So they don't have cap space when free agency starts. And so now they magically get it at training camp. And there's no good players that they have to sign, so they don't have to write a big check. Yay! Mission accomplished. And people talked about us all off season. They lie and they lie and they lie. And there are people in the real world who are going to tell you, well, Dak Prescott makes $60 million. Of course they can't compete. Lane Johnson makes $20-something million a year. Counts for 4 this year. They're
Listen to this right here.
Jalen Hurts makes what, 50-something a year? Counts like 3 this year. He doesn't count anything big until like 2019. Darius Slay makes big money and isn't even good anymore. Well, maybe he's okay. The Eagles have double the amount of highly paid players that you have, and they sign big-time free agents.
Let's hear that one more time. Let's hear that one more time. I want to hear that one more time because I thought that was very, very pertinent to what he just said there. I want to hear, because I've been saying that.
The amount of highly paid players that you have, and they sign big-time. Maybe he's okay. The Eagles have double the amount of highly paid players that you have, and they sign big-time free agents because they're trying to win.
And we're going to stop that right there. All right. So I wanted to share that with you to kind of put all these things together in this big pot. Okay. You got Bill Belichick doing his thing. He's out of the rankings. He's out of the pot. He's out of the consideration. He took another job. You look at the Oershown injury is devastating as it is, but he's devastating to a point where we're not going to be, he's not going to be available 20. So basically in this year's draft, you probably need to replace him as well as the other needs that the team have, right? All right. You match that up with, these people giving Mike McCarthy this ringing endorsement, all the people that be, whether it be Jerry, whether it be Steven, whether it be Dak, whether it be Micah, all the people that kind of matter. But then you had the people that watch film to tell you, no, man, no, this was one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and he couldn't bust a grape in a food fight, right? And then you hear this notice from Steven saying, hey, man, because it has been reported, because Mike Fisher had been talking about it for the last couple of months. Jeff Kavanaugh also did a video about this very same thing. When the season starts, they're going to hit some switches on CD's contract and Dak's contract and create about $85 million of salary cap money. And, of course, that other $25-30 million of dead cap money, they'll take that away. You can have about $80 million. You can go shopping with that. But to hear Steven telling you it's going to be tight, they're lying to you. Fact of the matter is, they're going to do the same thing next year that they did this year. And they're going to try to sell you that we don't have the money. And then just like Captain Thunder said, oh, it's greedy Dak taking all the money. It's like, dude, that's one dude before Dak, wasn't nobody really making any money. Okay. And Jeff Kavanaugh just told you the Eagles got twice as many high-priced players as we do, and they sign free agents. And they do as well as we do in the draft. Okay. And they got twice as much dead cap. Still didn't stop them from signing Saquon Barkley or Bryce Huff or anybody else that they want to sign, okay? Because they're trying to win. You got a situation where one team is trying to win, and of course now Jeff said and he also said in the video, I didn't let all that play because I don't know how much of that I can really let play. But he says, I think the Eagles kind of do too much of that. He said, I think they kind of go overboard. He said, I think there's a little less that they could do. He said, but there's a whole lot of vacuum between where the limit to where they should be doing and where we're at and what we don't do. And there's a difference between a team that's trying to win and a team that wants to make everybody think that they're trying to win. And they'll, like he's tried to say, they get the fan base goosed up against their players. Oh, that greedy Dak taking all the money. Ain't nobody saying greedy Jalen taking all the money because the Eagles don't let Jalen's salary, anybody else's salary, stop them from doing their jobs. So what is that? What am I saying all this big vat, this big bowl of gumbo that I'm stirring up tonight? If I didn't know better, I'm going to tell you, they're going to do the same thing next year that they did this year. They're going to not hit them switches for Dak and CD's contract because without the switches, Dak's contract is going to be about $90 million on the cap. That's the only year that it's that high, And CD's cap hits about like 37, 38 million or something like that. And then they'll hit switches and create about $80 million. But they're going to do that after the free agent period is over. Just like the same playbook they played this year. They could have signed CD and Dak earlier in March because they signed them for the same money that they would have signed them for had they signed it in March. Okay? They didn't sign it in March because that would allow them, when you sign long deal contracts like that, it creates cap space because you don't pay for that contract and start hitting salary cap hits to about a year, the next year. So it creates salary cap space. But had they created salary cap space, you would have had no excuse not to sign you a Daniil Hunter, okay, or a DJ Reader, okay, or a what's that linebacker's name, or a Bobby Wagner, one of those guys. You would have had no excuse not to sign one of them guys. But if you don't sign those contracts, extend them contracts, you don't have no money. And they're going to do that same thing this year. Oh, we ain't got the money. And then at the last moment, they'll do it. But then all the free agents will have been picked over. Because that gets people talking. Because that's something else he said on there. He said, because the longer that you don't sign your players or don't give your whatever, that's something that the news circuits will talk about. Every day that you don't sign them, they're in the news. So you have a ownership in the front office that wants to keep the news cycle going more than it wants to win football games. So what I'm telling you is, my hunch is Mike McCarthy is going to be back next year. He's going to be running that same stale offense that we've been running this year, and we're going to be running it with the less players than we had this year. I'm telling you, I think 2025 is going to be just about like 2024 was, maybe even worse. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. I wish I had better things, but the tea leaves point in a different direction. And I hope and I'm wrong. This is a time I hope I'm wrong. I hope soon as free agency comes around and they hit them switches, create that money, and they go get them T. Higgins. They go get Ronnie Stanley, and go get Smith from Kansas City. Terrence Smith. Is it Terrence Smith? Tyler Smith. No, that's our guys. Tyler Smith. I can't think of it. It's the guard. Go get him. Go get Charles Awunahe. Go get one of those dudes that Mike Fisher was talking about. On the free agent list that was. But my hunch is they're gonna say, "Hey, well, we just ain't got the money to do that, man. When you pay high price players, you don't have money left to do this other stuff." But then these other teams are doing bad other things, and then when they go to the draft, they don't just take the players that they draft selection falls to them on. If you want a player, you make some concessions. You go get a guy, but they ain't gonna do that because that'll mean they'll give up draft capital. And they don't like to give up draft capital. I forgot. Unless they're trying to prove a point, unless they're trying to win negotiating points against Dak, or to keep the fan base engaged in a year when they really should have been sellers. Yeah, Jonathan Mingo. Yeah, that was one of those deals. But that's all I got today. I wish I had better things to tell you guys, but I really don't, because I think that we in for some turbulent waters, man. As the next year go on. I think we're going to be in turbulent waters as long as there's a Jones at the daggum control panel. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's all I got, man. If we'll be keeping tabs on the game. We're playing the Carolina Panthers. I did a whole 57-minute video and they ain't talked about the game coming up this week. That's how the Cowboys like it, because the football is secondary to, news and tabloid stuff. The football is secondary, right? But please like, comment, and subscribe to the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. And please hit the like, please, pretty please, and hit your boy's Cash App. It's right there. All right. Catch you guys on the next video. God bless.